Donald Trump's tumultuous relationship with the media has been well documented. From his early days as a real estate mogul to his time in the White House, Trump has consistently attacked and belittled journalists and news organizations that he perceives as critical of him. His disdain for the media is not just a recent development but a long-standing aspect of his public persona. Over the years, Trump has labeled the media as fake news and the enemy of the people, terms that have resonated with his supporters and further polarized public opinion. His confrontational approach has often led to heated exchanges with reporters, both in person and on social media platforms. However, in recent years, these attacks have taken a more sinister turn, evolving from harsh rhetoric into a calculated legal strategy aimed at silencing dissent and undermining freedom of the press. This shift marks a significant escalation in his war on the media, moving beyond verbal assaults to tangible legal actions. Trump's legal offensive against the media has been relentless. He has filed numerous lawsuits against news organizations, accusing them of defamation, libel, and other offenses. These legal battles are not just about seeking damages, but also about sending a clear message to the media: criticize at your own risk. He has filed numerous lawsuits against news organizations, accusing them of defamation, libel, and other offenses. These lawsuits, often filed in courts considered favorable to Trump's interests, have tied up media companies in costly and time-consuming litigation, diverting resources away from investigative journalism and potentially discouraging critical reporting. These lawsuits, often filed in courts considered favorable to Trump's interests, have tied up media companies in costly and time-consuming litigation, diverting resources away from investigative journalism and potentially discouraging critical reporting. The financial and emotional toll on journalists and their organizations cannot be overstated. One of the most high-profile targets of Trump's legal wrath has been ABC News. The network, known for its investigative reporting, found itself in Trump's crosshairs after airing a report that he claimed was false and defamatory. In 2024, Trump sued the network for a staggering $15 million over a report that he alleges was false and defamatory. The lawsuit not only sought financial compensation but also aimed to discredit the network and its reporting. While the details of the case remain confidential, the settlement sent shockwaves through the media industry, raising concerns about the chilling effect such lawsuits could have on investigative journalism. The fear of potential legal repercussions may lead to self-censorship among journalists, ultimately depriving the public of crucial information. Trump's legal attacks have not been limited to major news organizations. He has also targeted individual journalists, bloggers, and even social media users who have dared to criticize him. These individuals often lack the resources to defend themselves against such powerful legal onslaughts. He has also targeted individual journalists, bloggers, and even social media users who have dared to criticize him. These actions, often accompanied by threats and intimidation tactics, have created a climate of fear and uncertainty for journalists, particularly those working for smaller, independent outlets with limited resources to defend themselves against such legal assaults. These actions, often accompanied by threats and intimidation tactics, have created a climate of fear and uncertainty for journalists, particularly those working for smaller, independent outlets with limited resources to defend themselves against such legal assaults. The broader implications for press freedom and democracy are profound, as a free and independent press is essential for holding power to account and informing the public. At the heart of Trump's legal strategy is a concerted effort to weaken or overturn a landmark Supreme Court ruling that has served as a cornerstone of press freedom in the United States for over half a century. This ruling, known as New York Times Co. v. Sullivan, has been instrumental in shaping the landscape of American journalism and protecting the rights of the press. This 1964 decision established the actual malice standard, which requires public officials to prove that a false statement was published with knowledge that it was false or with reckless disregard of whether it was false or not, in order to win a libel suit. This standard has made it significantly more challenging for public figures to claim defamation, thereby ensuring that journalists can report on public officials without constant fear of litigation. The ruling has been hailed as a victory for free speech, providing journalists with crucial legal protection to report on matters of public concern without undue fear of reprisal. It has allowed the press to serve as a watchdog, holding those in power accountable and ensuring that the public remains informed about the actions of their leaders. By setting a high bar for proving libel, the court recognized the importance of a robust and independent press in a democratic society. This decision underscored the essential role that a free press plays in fostering transparency and encouraging public discourse. Trump, however, has repeatedly criticized the ruling, arguing that it makes it too difficult for public figures to sue for defamation. He believes that the current standard allows the media to publish false and damaging information without sufficient accountability. His legal team has actively sought to challenge the precedent set by in various lawsuits, hoping to create a more favorable legal environment for silencing critics and discouraging scrutiny from the press. They argue that the actual malice standard is too high a barrier for public figures seeking to protect their reputations. Efforts to chip away at have not been limited to Trump and his allies. There is a broader movement among certain conservative circles to revisit and potentially overturn this landmark decision. Conservative activists and legal groups have also launched campaigns to overturn or weaken the ruling, arguing that it has gone too far in protecting the media and has allowed for the proliferation of false and misleading information. They contend that a recalibration is necessary to balance the rights of individuals with the freedoms of the press, ensuring that neither is unduly compromised. The cumulative impact of Trump's legal actions, coupled with broader efforts to undermine, has cast a long shadow over the field of journalism. The threat of costly and time-consuming litigation, even if ultimately unsuccessful, can have a chilling effect on investigative reporting, particularly for smaller news organizations and independent journalists with limited resources. Faced with the prospect of legal retaliation, newsrooms may become more risk-averse, shying away from controversial stories or watering down their reporting to avoid potential legal challenges. This self-censorship can have a detrimental impact on the public's right to know, as important stories go untold and powerful individuals are shielded from scrutiny. Moreover, the chilling effect extends beyond the newsroom. Sources, fearing legal repercussions or harassment, may be less likely to come forward with information, hindering journalists' ability to uncover wrongdoing and hold those in power accountable. This erosion of trust between journalists and their sources can further impede the flow of information vital to a functioning democracy. The consequences of this chilling effect are particularly acute for independent and local journalism. Smaller outlets already grappling with financial constraints and dwindling resources are often ill-equipped to withstand the financial burden of defending themselves against lawsuits from wealthy and powerful individuals like Trump. This power imbalance creates an uneven playing field, potentially silencing critical voices and undermining the diversity of perspectives essential to a healthy media landscape. Trump's assault on the press has been aided and abetted by a cadre of wealthy individuals who share his disdain for critical media coverage. These individuals, often shielded by their immense wealth and influence, have found ways to manipulate the legal system to their advantage. They see the press not as a pillar of democracy, but as an adversary that must be controlled or silenced. This has led to a concerted effort to undermine journalistic integrity and freedom of speech. These billionaires, leveraging their vast fortunes and influence, have emerged as major players in the effort to reshape the legal landscape in a way that favors the powerful and silences dissent. By funding lawsuits and lobbying for legislative changes, they aim to create an environment where the media is less able to hold them accountable. This strategy not only protects their interests but also serves to intimidate other potential critics. One such figure is Steve Wynn, a casino magnate and prominent Republican donor who has been a vocal critic of the media. Wynn has used his considerable resources to challenge unfavorable coverage and to push for legal reforms that would make it easier for public figures to sue for defamation. His actions are part of a broader trend among the wealthy elite to use the courts as a weapon against the press. Wynn's influence extends beyond his own legal battles. He has also supported political candidates and organizations that share his views on media regulation. By aligning himself with like-minded individuals and groups, Wynn has helped to create a powerful coalition that seeks to curtail press freedom and to promote a more favorable media environment for the wealthy and powerful. In 2025, Wynn filed a petition with the Supreme Court, urging the justices to revisit the landmark ruling, arguing that it has tilted the scales too far in favor of the media and has allowed for the spread of false and defamatory information. This move was seen as part of a larger effort to weaken the protections afforded to journalists and to make it easier for public figures to sue for defamation. Another billionaire who has used his wealth to silence critics is Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX. Musk, known for his innovative ventures and outspoken personality, has often found himself at odds with the media. His approach to dealing with unfavorable coverage has been to threaten and pursue legal action against those who criticize him. Musk, who has been described as having a complicated relationship with the media, has repeatedly threatened legal action against journalists and news organizations that he perceives as biased or unfair. His aggressive stance has had a chilling effect on some reporters, who may think twice before publishing critical stories about him or his companies. In one notable instance, Musk sued Media Matters for America, a nonprofit media watchdog group, alleging that the organization had engaged in a smear campaign against him. This lawsuit was part of a broader pattern of legal intimidation aimed at silencing critics and controlling the narrative around his public persona and business ventures. These billionaires, motivated by a combination of ideological conviction and a desire to protect their own reputations and financial interests, have effectively weaponized the legal system, using it as a tool to intimidate critics, silence dissent, and shape the narrative in their favor. Their actions are not just about personal vendettas, they represent a broader effort to reshape the public discourse and to limit the power of the press. Their actions have far-reaching consequences not only for the media landscape, but also for the health of democracy itself. When the press is unable to operate freely and without fear of retribution, the public's ability to stay informed and to hold the powerful accountable is severely compromised. This erosion of press freedom poses a significant threat to democratic principles and the functioning of a free society.
So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and let's turn the page on a new adventure together. Get ready to experience books like never before, only on VBook 360. Like, comment, and share to support the channel and keep the video magic alive. Thank you for stopping by. And remember, every video has a story, and every story deserves to be shared. See you in the next video.